Hello, hello. Here we are again. My name is Irene Anggreeni, your mental fitness coach and leadership coach. And in honor of the World Mental Health Day, which is tomorrow, October 10th, I thought I'd show up very quickly for this flash webinar about leading through uncertainties with mental health awareness. Because this has been a theme recently that I see, okay, there's a lot of changes. Just in general, the environment we live in is more fast-paced these days, and in organizations as well, there's a lot of moving elements that we need to be agile mentally and emotionally as well. And at the same time, it also tests how we are as leaders. Yeah, doesn't matter what your title is. We need to show up with more maybe groundedness, like, because in these moments of change, that's really crucial. So let me try if I can share my. Okay. Oh, that was too far. Okay, let me check first. I was sharing the wrong one. Okay. I think now, yeah, we are on the right page. So let's take this moment to also, this is kind of your moment to decompress and to have like your own self space to reflect. And in all the uncertainties, all the changes around you, it must impact every one of us, each individuals as well. So this is an invitation. Yeah, what is going on in your personal space right now, or in your professional space? Like, where do you face uncertainty right now? And also consider, like, how much is it impacting you? How much stress does it bring to your life? Yeah, and it is completely normal. It's very human. Like, when there are changes, even if it's positive change, like moving to a nicer house or getting married or getting a child, those are also big changes in our life, but it still brings with it a lot of stress. So just acknowledge that it is okay. It's part of our normal human experience. And especially when we talk about uncertainties, there are a lot of studies here. Uncertainty actually hurts more than bad news. Yeah, so like not knowing, like, okay, what's gonna happen next, that actually our brain interprets that as pain. So yeah, no wonder, that we are experiencing also like the symptoms, like, like when facing painful moments, kind of the stress is also there. And here is perhaps something that can perhaps make you feel more grounded. Yeah, it's very human experience. And when we talk about certainty, like, what is certain in life? Kind of like there are certain things, of course, but uncertainty is more the norm. And that is the thing. Yeah, life comes without any guarantee. Like we can plan our life in such a wonderful way, and maybe we even draw in people close to us, come on, or let's do this together. But yeah, it doesn't always pan out. Yeah, so this is not to discourage you from from doing great things or planning for your future, like in a way that you really want to craft it. But just kind of to take it with that awareness. Yeah, with this, maybe like, okay, to accept that uncertainty is part of life. There's no guarantee, and the only certainty is that uncertainty. And therefore, like, when we want to navigate life with feeling secure, feeling safe, like, we need to live with those insecurities. Knowing how to live with the insecurity is the only security. This is a wonderful word of wisdom, not by me, unfortunately, but I thought like this can inspire you. And that is also perhaps why you are here. Like, you're looking for resources to help you feel more secure, more anchored in these uncertain things going on in your life, and to support your growth as well. And each one of us is a leader. Yeah, no matter what your title, like I said in the beginning. And each one of us has a duty to rise up as a leader. Yeah, be it in our own life or in our community, in our family, in our work. Maybe it is your job function to lead others through these uncertainties, kind of like maybe you're leading a transformation in your organization. And we need to remember this, that to successfully lead others, we don't go after other people and try to change them, but we must first learn to lead ourselves. Yeah, cultivating our self-leadership. That is super important. And why is it super important? Because this is like, just to paint you the picture, yeah, there's the elephant in the room. I don't show the whole elephant, just the trunk, yeah, because we may only be seeing a small part of it, just the trunk. So one thing that we need to be aware of is our collective state of mental health. Yeah, which, to be honest here, like I feel shocked, like also like to see these stats, and I feel we deserve better and we could be better. Yeah, so there are some facts and figures based on research. Yeah, that half of chronic sick leave in Europe is due to depression. Yeah, I've been there. I'm a mental health advocate. I talk publicly about my mental health struggle. So I'm one of these stats here. And 1 in 14 adults, so on average that's like 7.2% are living with chronic depression. And also in the organizations, like there are these studies as well that discover that 71% of leaders worldwide, they report significantly higher stress since stepping into their role. Yeah, and this is the majority of leaders then, yeah, kind of 3 in 4 almost. And also 73%, that's 3 in 4 tech professional, IT professionals in Europe, they report burnout. Yeah, so we need to take into account, like when we are organizing changes, transforming our organization, to also be aware, like, hey, a lot of us are already carrying invisible burden. So how can we first and foremost not do more harm with all the changes that we do in the organization, and also how do we keep it in a way that is responsible, that is safe for everyone involved? Because if you are just like leading change and all the people are falling because of their invisible burden, because of their mental health struggle, it's also not going to work, right? So that's crucial to keep in mind. So there is this very interesting survey as well. Yeah, I thought to put it here just to tickle your curiosity. Like, who do you think has the most impact on your mental health? Yeah, if you want to share in the chat, no names. Just like maybe like just consider who is that person, that has most impact. It can be negative, it can be positive as well. Yeah, who has the biggest influence on your stress or anxiety? So there's this study, yeah, especially for people working in organizations, employees worldwide, 69% of them answered it's their manager, their boss, who has the most impact on their mental health. Yeah, so it's the same level as their spouse. Spouse also gets 69% thinks that, okay, my spouse has the the most impact, hopefully the positive side. And it's even more than than their therapist, for instance, or their doctor. And it makes sense, for me it makes sense, because like we spend a lot of our time at our work, in our job, and it's the biggest factor influencing our mental health. And this is you are not alone in this same boat. So seeing this picture on mental health, I hope that you agree there's more proactive way to navigate uncertainties that comes with all stress and anxiety, with more care for each other. And that's why I want to share with you this toolkit. and it is some principles with some actionable tools as well. And I call it, the S.A.F.E framework, just to make it easy to remember, because it all deals with psychological safety. Safety first. So it is an acronym, and I hope that this can accompany you in whatever strategies or approaches you are implementing right now. So let's start with the S. And you can probably guess already, it is about safety, because it's the first and foremost foundation for everything else to take root, is the psychological safety. If there's no safety, whatever initiative, whatever project you want to implement, like it's not gonna blossom, it's not gonna take root. And what is it? I just have a very simple definition here. It's the feeling that you can be yourself at work. So maybe that resonates, or maybe you feel okay, like you have more specific criteria for what it is for you, psychological safety. So that means also, like if you can be yourself at work, you can speak up with your ideas or questions or concerns or mistakes without fear of punishment or humiliation or ridicule. That everyone can feel that they matter. Now, this is the interesting question. Like, where does it start? Where does psychological safety start? I give you a hint. Leaders go first. Like, you hear this a lot, right? Leaders go first. Lead by example. So, you are all leaders, right? It starts with yourself, within ourselves, with our own inner safety. That's what I want to highlight, because, and especially if you are the leader, you are doing this not just for yourself. You're doing it to support everyone you work with. So some questions actually to assess your psychological safety within you. So it can start with an awareness of your internal processes. How safe and secure are you feeling in yourself? Does it feel here, like feel like a safe space within you? What is your inner talk like? Like in my previous lives, I talked a lot about the saboteurs, the inner saboteurs. So this is about that. Kind of like, do you have like the saboteur voice like hijacking you mostly, or is it the good voice, like encouraging you, nurturing you, being kind to you? So that's some check as well. Like, okay, is it supportive or encouraging, harsh or judgmental? Just for now, just take notes. Be aware, like what is your inner voice like? And also importantly, do you recognize your own emotion? If you recognize them, then you can deal with them with more wisdom. And deal with them also, we can deal with our emotions in many different ways, right? But what I always encourage is to deal with your emotion in a compassionate way, in a kind way, instead of with aggression. No, I'm not allowed to feel this way, and that's why I will suppress it. So the last example I mentioned, that's not a healthy way in the long run. So how do you recognize your emotions and deal with it in a more balanced way? Because if we are not aware of our own emotions, we tend to project them to others, and guess what happens then? And then we spread our own feeling of unsafety to others, and it creates like a really unsafe culture. So you can also consider all these seep into your interactions, your communication with others, verbal or in writing, or when you're leading a meeting and so on, and overall in your presence. So this is important questions and reflections for you, because from this awareness, that's where we can build our capacity for self-awareness, self-management, self-leadership. And that opens also to the next, the S.A.F.E framework. The next letter is active listening. Yeah, and what it is really is about the practice of being present, physically, mentally, emotionally. And we can only be fully present when we feel safe within. When we trust ourselves and we know how to quiet this negative mind chatter, especially the saboteur voice. Yeah, and you probably know this already. Kind of we receive more non-verbal cues actually in communication. Yeah, there are a lot of debates like how much is it like in communication, like from 60 or up to 90%. But there are a lot of this non-verbal being exchanged as well as we interact with others, and that actually speaks volume. Because even sometimes when we, even if the words are the same, the non-verbal can make it like that it be perceived as positive or or encouraging, or that kind of you as the person are trustworthy, or the opposite. You get this. I think you have quite a lot of example in your own interactions. So when we can be present, active listening, that is like our non-verbal cues are there, like that also impacts like with our nervous system are always communicating with each other. And when we are able to practice presence, others can perceive us as well as more trustworthy, because they feel us like really there, and they are more willing to share when they receive our genuine presence. And listening, active listening is really listening to understand. Instead of listening to respond, to reply. Even like when you see like, okay, conversation that seems so lively, like there's a lot of back and forth, like it doesn't guarantee that there's active listening going on. So really, take that into account. It's not about like, okay, like there's quick exchange, but there's actually understanding. And it's crucial for leaders, particularly because they need to watch out for the information bubble. And what is that? Kind of you may get a sense already. Like it's super challenging, right? For feedback to travel upward to the leader. And even among peers, this can happen as well. That people don't dare to voice their questions or concerns or bring bad news, or even just say no, I'm overwhelmed, can you please ask someone else, or I cannot support you at this moment, please let's make another plan to address this project. So that is what this active listening is very connected to psychological safety as well. And it can only happen when psychological safety already starts to take root. Then active listening is kind of the key for us also to receive feedback from each other and to nourish the safety even further. So some questions to check your active listening. This is a funny thing, right? Like there were like when people are surveyed, like, are you a good listener? And everyone thinks they are, but no, it's not the truth. I mean, like we like to believe it, but this is your honest self-reflection check. To consider, like, when listening, are you really listening, or are you already making assumptions and judgments about kind of what is being said? Because like then you would dismiss it already as not important, and you won't listen for the rest. That's usually what happens also to me. So that's why I keep checking myself. or like if you have like a brain that works differently, maybe you're listening and you're already thinking about 10 different things in your head. So that's also something to keep check. Yeah, kind of like what can make you more anchored in the conversation, for instance. And the last one, I think this happened a lot also, like sometimes we are listening and we are already rehearsing our response based on, this I don't agree, I will respond it this way, and so on and so on. So keep those in check, all right? And this is what becomes possible when safety and active listening are there. Yeah, because then hearts are more open. Yeah, do you remember when was the last time you opened your heart to someone? And how did it feel? Yeah, and if it felt vulnerable, it felt like, like taking a risk, like maybe a bit scary even, congratulations. Yeah, that means you are already practicing this third principle, which is like making space for feelings. And this is all about vulnerability, right? And vulnerability can be defined in so many different ways, and I want to keep it clear and with a boundary here. It's not about like throwing up all your emotional drama in the workplace or even in a personal space, like it's not meant in that way. Yeah, but vulnerability is about showing up and being seen as who you are. And it does feel like taking a risk because we don't know like how the other will perceive us. Yeah, and that is the risk though that we need to take if we want to experience real connection. And when we talk about trust, like trust and safety and active listening and trust and so on, trust is a product of vulnerability and it grows over time. Yeah, it cannot suddenly appear like in one interaction. So it needs to be cultivated through work, attention, and engagement. Yeah, so if you are a leader already, like starting maybe like some initiative to create safety or create trust in your team, and you're not seeing that it's there yet, yeah, be patient because it grows over time, like a tree. Yeah, like it's not like a on and off switch. So how do you keep nourishing it? So studies have shown that showing first, leader go first, showing vulnerability, that's what brings trust, and that's what creates stronger teams. And in this context, like in the context of organizations actually going through change, it's one concrete example is about the leader, like signaling also fallibility. That I don't know all the answers. I may be wrong as well, as a leader. I may make mistake down the line. So that's why I rely on you, my talented team members, my talented people, to also give me input, give me feedback. Yeah, and that's asking for help in an empowered way, right? Because it's not like help, I don't know what to do, but it's really owning that, hey, as a leader, I'm also not the all-knowing. So, let's build cooperation. Let's, work together to actually deliver our project to a great success. So, making space for feelings. Yeah, these are some of the guidelines to remember, because leaders always go first. Lead by example. Yeah, you sign up for it when you are a leader. Didn't you read the small print? Okay. And safety and active listening are prerequisite for this. Yeah, because if it's not there yet, and then you're suddenly dumping all your feelings and so on, and even not in a not in an empowered way, not in within healthy boundary, like that can also create other issues. Yeah. And when trust and vulnerability are established, then kind of that means like leaders are in the habit to keep showing them, not just once, but consistently, regularly, that people don't remember just like the one time that you say oh, I'm sorry, or but make that a normal thing, that is part of the culture. Yeah. And this is the words that you can use, or you can maybe you can use for yourself, or you can identify, like to detect, oh, this is that example of vulnerability. And in response, instead of when someone says like, I don't know all the answers, I need your help, respond with kindness again, with compassion, instead of like, you fool, how come you don't know about this? That's completely going to ruin it. So don't do that. But instead, like, yes, I appreciate that you're acknowledging this, and I'm, how can I help you? Yeah, simple as that. So when we talk about mental health, and this can be the questions that you can ask, especially like if a lot of people are, a lot of people in your team are dealing with stress. So how's your stress level in this past week? And really normalize it. And if it's not so forthcoming, their answer, maybe start with you first. You start, you're the leader. Kind of, saying like, okay, this impact me also, like in that it increased my stress level, and I may not be so approachable like these past days, but I'm here now in this conversation with you, and so on. So on. I don't want to script the conversation for you. What's occupying your headspace? So, and of course, this can be, like if you have developed deeper trust, like it can also be, like not just about the project that is demanding, but it can also be other things that are adjacent to it or related to it, like maybe like kind of I found it difficult to to reach out to this maybe this team member, and kind of like, and that's a blocker in this project, and so on, so that you can find the solution together. And also, as the leader, be prepared to ask this, like especially if you notice that the person you're in dialogue with is struggling, kind of. And my suggestion is to bring this with a lot of compassion. Watch your tone as well. There is not a judgmental one. Because sometimes, like if we ask like, are you okay, it can even be misinterpreted by the others. Like people can get really angry if they're asked if they're okay. So is there anything we can do to you feel the rest, like just read the person, like what would be the right compassionate words for that. And we arrive at the last letter, the E, so which is about enabling and empowering. And again, it starts with you. You're modeling the behaviors for others. This all can be about how we communicate as a leader, or how do we give autonomy to our team members, or how do we take initiative. And not to be confused with micromanaging, which is a destructive way of creating false security, right? By controlling others, and we think like, okay, now then everything will be fine. But actually, to inspire and encourage others to take the step, that's when they feel and they experience your example. You guiding them as well as the leader, you coach them, you guide them. That's what this enabling and empowering is about. And that actually bring it all together, because like this psychological safety is about this awareness of, like, how am I feeling inside me, like am I feeling safe in myself, and from then you can listen actively to others, give them your presence, listening with your whole being. And that's where there's space for feelings, right? And then from this, like, vulnerability, trust, and a stronger team can grow. And enabling and empowering is about putting it to action, bringing it all together. So with this, to close this short webinar, I'm already over time. More than 30 minutes. Okay, so all this remain a theory if we don't take action, right? So, and at the same time, your leadership is demonstrated by your behavior, the actions you do every day, even if it feels small or insignificant. So to develop your leadership, kind of start easy, like what's the tiny action that you want to implement right now. So if you feel like, okay, in any of these letters, S for safety, A for active listening, what is it? F for making space for feeling, and now enabling and empowering. So see, like in your day-to-day, like which activities can be the anchor to maybe like to fill in the jar of each of these, and what would be the tiny action. And this is based on neuroscience. So if you want to develop a behavior, really make it tiny, break it down into small tiny action, and find where it fits easily, naturally in your routine, in your day-to-day life, and then nurture it. Like, okay, like try it maybe like consistently, and that's what you need to do when you want to create long-term change. Especially like in the bigger change where everything is moving around and you don't know like where things go where. Like you also need to adapt yourself to that. You may need to make some changes from within you. So that's a long-term change we can aim for, and it's best to start small. So I just give you this maybe a small inspiration. I practice mindfulness, and that's also what I teach my clients as well. Not mindfulness as the whole approach, but like as a tool in the coaching that I do. And what I know that a lot of you have back-to-back meetings and really busy lives generally. So this can be like an easy way to start, like before each meeting, like I will practice just breathing awareness for 1 minute if you have it, if not like 10 seconds. And with that, I will close this webinar. And if you have any nagging question or any takeaway you want to share, or you want to implement it and you don't know like, okay, is this the right way, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to have a further conversation about this, especially if you have a specific situation that kind of what do I do exactly, how do I implement this S.A.F.E framework in what I'm dealing with. I'll be happy to continue our conversation offline, like not on this webinar, live webinar. And for now, I wish you a wonderful day further, and also take care of your mental health. It's as important as your physical health as well. Okay, ciao everyone.